Hello everyone, I hope you've had a great day so far and that you're doing well. For this video we'll be going through a bit of a unboxing and a bit of a review of the weapon display base, and this is a bit of an exclusive display base for some of the kits from the Witch from Mercury, and this base set was released in 2023 by Bandai. So I know I've mentioned it in some of my previous Witch from Mercury high grade unboxings. So now that I've actually had a few come in from HobbyLink, I thought I would crack one open and have a look. Now I will make the disclaimer because I have yet to finish a Lefrith, or an Aerial, or a Darabold, or a Feract. There won't be, at least in the review component, there won't be elements of the display base in proper use and action. So I can probably say with some certainty that once those particular kits are done, I'll use the display base then. But with that being said, they'll probably be used once those kits are finished, so definitely keep an eye out on those particular videos when the time comes. Anyway, here we have the front of the packaging for the weapon display base. It's just a standard single runner with some back and front instructions, etc. Just in a simple bag, so similar to how some of the early entry grades came out for the RX-78. So definitely going straight to the point. So we have the actual weapon display base in use with the kit. In fact, we have the set being used for the bits from the Aerial, both here and up here as well. I suspect it's the same one, but in saying that, it actually does have compatibility between the high grade G-Witch kits and the full mechanics, which is interesting. I also know I'm going to have to wait until that full mechanics goes off back order, because people were very quick to pre-order that over at HobbyLink. So yes, here we have a bit of a shot of two bases being used, and I do believe the Aerial in that case was also on a Action Base 5, so it does make this very nice looking scenic type base. So in total there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which can't be right because you only get 6 stands in total. No, I take that back. That is very correct, because 2 sets of 6 will be 12. Clearly I'm having issues with math. Anyway, that's if you use 2 bases. This is if you use just the single bases from a single base set, which will basically give you, so you get the 2 little stands. Each will have 3 rods, so a total of 6 stand bits, and this will just basically have some extra bits to attach to the top of the pole arm, I guess, as well as a small piece to put these together. And then over here we do have a nice description of some of those different adapter bits for different sets. So these 2 parts will be used for the bits from the Gundam Heract. These 2 can be used for the joint parts from the Darabold, and these 5 parts can be utilized for the Lefrith and the Aerial, and the full mechanics Aerial, which according to this is scheduled for March 2023. So we're recording this video basically middle of Feb, so in a few more weeks the full mechanics 1100 Gundam Aerial will be released. So that's the front. So pretty much a nice little breakdown of what to expect from inside. In terms of the back, so you can pretty much see straight to that single clear runner. You can start seeing some of the instructions, as well as just a bit of a rehash of some of the things. So we have an image of pretty much everything that's included in the set. This little image can basically connect these small pieces to the Action Base 5. And then we have different examples of the displays. So the Gundam Feract with just What is this one using? Using 2 sets apparently. I feel that's only 1 set because there's only the 2 little triangle bits. Trapezoids, either. The Lafrith. Now this one's definitely using at least 2 sets. And then lastly, the Darabold using 1 set and its bits as well. So definitely very, very cool. So what I will do is I will open up the bag and we can have a better look at the instructions and the runner itself. And with everything now out, so we've already seen the front of the A4-ish type size paper. So here we have the actual instructions. So there's the parts list with that single BAG runner. We have a little information here. So 2 sets can be used to display all of the compatible Gundam bits or drones included in 1 kit. Because that will give you a total of 12 different pole arms to use. A single set only having 6. So pretty much a case of just building the pole arms together. So you'll have some long ones and some short ones. If you really want to, the 2 bases are connectable. Otherwise, you can use a similar piece to connect to an Action Base 5. And then here we just go through some of the different options with different kits. So some of the bits can be used from the Lafrith and the aerial. Interestingly enough, so we've got 9, 10 and 12, and then 11 and 13. But in saying that, the Lafrith and the aerial do have some similar bits, so not to suggest they're not interchangeable, but there you go. The Darabold has its own little interesting take on its bits and pieces. So it's drones, well, it's mainly drones and more drones. And then the Faract has its own little gun bits as well, which are quite distinct. And we'll go into those little, with a dedicated holder. So that was the manual. In terms of the runner, so we do have the single BAG, so this is all in clear. So here are the 2 bases, the 3 smaller pole arms, the 3 larger ones are here, and then the rest are pretty much either accessories or connector accessories for the different drones and gun bits, or just to attach onto the poles. So that is what the runner will look like before everything is taken off. Now, when everything is taken off, now I will just leave that here because I definitely don't want to lose those. So here we have the pole arms. So I've put this together. So if I was to take that off, take that. So that's that little piece that will just connect it in between either the 2 smaller parts or one of those to a Action Base 5. So that's cool. So there's that connector piece. So here is 1/2 of the display base. So each of these rods will have, well, basically if I take one out, so you'll have a connector point into the base. This part down here will swivel up and down, which is cool. So that's the swivel of that, very nice. And then at the very top of the base you have yet another swivel as well. I've also attached one of these extra little cylindrical pieces to the top, which is that, just to give it a bit of a adapter for some of the various things. And I believe it can probably also be used to hold different things as well. So those are the 3 smaller rods. As for the larger rods, now even though they look like they have a bit in the middle that moves, they do not. But like the smaller ones, they have the connector bit here, which then allows them to have that nice degree of movement. That does not move, and then the top of the arm has that same type of up and down, and I have once again put that little attachment point there. So Obviously don't do that, so bear in mind things like gravity and weight do still play a factor in certain things. So that's me just deploying that into a bit of a weird forward motion. Likewise, this one is also in a forward motion as well. So depending what you want to do, you can obviously move them up and down accordingly and swivel that up and down as well. You can even do it that way. Just make a nice little 3-point type base. So definitely a lot of options there with these bases. Just pretty much limited purely by your imagination and what type of dynamic pose or display you are trying to create. So with those out of the way, now we do have an array of these parts, so let's try not to lose them. Okay. I'll start with the Ferract one. So it's basically what the piece for the Ferract looks like. So its gun bits will just slide in neatly into these little bits. Be able to hold 2 gun bits per one of these. You do get 2, so be able to hold up to 4. In terms of what it looks like, well, I guess if I put it onto one of these, pretty much what it would look like when attached to one of those pole arms and its top attachment point. So definitely not too bad looking. So that's if you're using the Ferract. Now, if I was to use, say, the Darabol, it'll have 2 of these smaller connector pieces, and like everything else, just pretty much slots into the top of one of those, and just gives you another option for your drone part. So I'm imagining the connector pin on the drone parts are probably larger than expected. So good thing is you can move that up around, up and down at the top and at the bottom as well. So depends what you're doing with the drone piece. Now let's see if we'll take one of these pieces off. In fact, we'll take both of them off. So they do come off quite nicely as well. Now, as for the bits for the Lefris in the aerial. So we have this little piece, which basically what will happen is the gun bit will just slide into that component, and that will just rest neatly on the top of the adapter. That's one of them. We have another piece which, before I put it on, so this one's going to be a case of the actual gun bit will attach to the back of that, which is fine. So if I just attach that, so that'll go into the adapter as normal, and then you'll have this bit that will attach into the end of the gun bit. We have another one which very similar, so more of a rectangular tab sliding into that and then just going onto the top of the adapter base like so, and the other remaining ones, so still a bit of a variation of a theme, just some more tabbing type options based on the gun bit, which just goes on quite nicely onto the top. And this one is more of a tab going into the gun bit as opposed to the tab from the gun bit going in. And that once again just goes on top. So especially for this one and probably this one, will probably end up being more like that, where they will actually need the top of the pole to come down. Whereas the other one is probably going to be more upright and the gun bit will just slot into that. So that is a bit of a review of the actual weapon display base. So, before everything gets lost, because we definitely don't want to do that. So definitely very cool. Now I did pick up a few of these, so I've got 3 on me right now, which is good. So that's at least 3 kits I'll be able to use this on. Potentially I'll get more in the future as well. So that brings us to the end of a unboxing and review of the weapon display base for a number of the high grade kits and for mechanic kits from the Witch from Mercury series. I'm definitely looking forward to being able to use them when the time comes. Now I'm trying to remember if I have an Action Base 5. I get the feeling I don't. So that'll be interesting. So I'll be able to have a Gundam standing around and just have these different bases with the Gundam bits and drones deployed. So be an interesting look. Definitely more so for the photography and final display more than anything else. But I'm definitely glad I have a few. I'll definitely get a few more, no doubt. They're definitely pretty easy to pull off the runner and put together. Definitely won't take too long. So yes, they're definitely very super cool, and it looks like they'll be very fun to use. Thank you very much for watching this unboxing and review video. Feel free to leave a comment, a like, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. All of this does help support the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram account, link below, and I'll also have a link to the weapon display base over at HobbyLink, as well as other kits within the G-Witch series. Stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in a future video. See ya.